It is 7:40. The American Academy of Pediatrics warns of the potential negative effects of social media on young kids and teenagers, including cyberbullying and Facebook depression. But Forbes reports the same may be true for adults. Francisco Ricardo is a media and culture expert and the author of the upcoming book, Beyond #Culture.
Veronica gets on Skype to speak with him about the ill effects of following someone online.
Certainly there's nothing wrong with following someone if you like to follow certain ideas and to keep up on them. Following is a vague term. If we look at it more carefully, we realize that following isn't just sort of, for example, keeping up with information. A lot of times it's also beginning to adopt the sentiments and the values of other people. And when that happens en masse, we end up with a large number of people quickly coming to consensus with very little real careful exploration. There's a reason, I think, that philosophers, for instance, even when they started, this project of democracy back in Athens, they wanted to talk about things and they didn't want to be too sure about things. So they talked on forever. That's the Greek concept of democracy that we are based on. And the media platforms that there are today don't really encourage us to really talk and explore at length as I think we need to for some complex topics.
Well, following has become a very successful thing for some people. If they have a certain number of followers, over 1 million followers, the people who are hiring them hire them because they have so many followers.
It does have the creation of a kind of a celebrity culture. And the idea of success, as you also point out, I think is actually interesting. They become successful by having people sort of following them, in which case we are really speaking about people appreciating them. But are they really understanding them? And this is in large part, for me, what I see happening with mass movements a lot of times, of which sort of social media is a definitional form of it. We can have a lot of people following things and we can have a lot of people appreciating a position, but they don't necessarily have a way through the instrument of social media to really explore and understand it more fully.
So is this follower lifestyle stifling creativity?
It certainly gets in the way of exactly that, largely because when we're following, we're focusing on other people. We're focusing on other things that they themselves may be doing. A lot of things come along with that. Sometimes if someone's wearing a certain kind of clothing, we'll go off and we'll buy that clothing. And sometimes a person will be paid to sponsor that clothing in a very implicit way, for instance. Whereas, as you mentioned, the other side of this, which would be creativity, that's not following someone else. That's following oneself. That's changing oneself, exploring oneself. And I think we don't do enough of that at the moment. There are other positions other than just either liking or disliking, following or not following. There's a lot of positions in between.
Media and culture expert Francisco Ricardo. He's also the author of the upcoming book, Beyond #Culture.